Hello. This is our project for English. This is our first day. It's very early in the morning. We're gonna start heading out right now, and we're gonna document every time we see a camera or any form of surveillance, whether it is guards, police officers, patrol guards, audio recordings, anything. We will record it. We'll live like it's a normal day. We'll go to school, go to the mall, and then come back. And yeah.
So we're gonna record like any type of surveillance we encounter. So we can counter 3 types of surveillance: either face-to-face, interface surveillance, or file-based surveillance. So we're gonna record and we're gonna keep track of everything that we encounter for day 1, and then just to let you know that for day 2, it's gonna be our anti-surveillance day. So it's a day where we're gonna dress up, we're gonna put up some hats, some caps, and we're gonna try to prevent any type of surveillance we can. Ha habido 2 cámaras.
Next stop, Forester Street.
We were lucky enough to interview the head of security in Capilano University. We found out that every time we use our key pass or our student ID, it gets sent to a database that tracks our location. Although cameras weren't hidden from us in school, they were strategically placed so that no one would pay attention to them or they wouldn't stick out. We're currently in Capilano. We have been seen 36 times by cameras, and now we are going to downtown to see how much we're surveyed over there. Even on public transportation, we were consistently being reminded that we were being surveyed. There was an average of 6 signs on every bus. So we are outside of the provincial courthouse of British Columbia, and in just one block, we have seen about 14 cameras, 5 police cruisers, 7 guards.
So we've been here for like 10-15 minutes, and we started off with 15 cameras, and we only walked about 2 blocks, and now we're at 84 cameras, and we've been surveyed by at least 5 police cars and 2 guards. So now we're gonna head to the mall. We're just gonna do what we do in our normal daily lives.
Yeah.
And then see what happens.
The big thing that we want to avoid is
As soon as we stepped outside, we were astonished by the amount of surveillance there was. In the mall, on top of being under surveillance by CCTVs, most stores had 1 or 2 guards patrolling the outside and the inside.
Oh my god. So this is still day 1, and we just came back from downtown from the mall. And at the end we realized that from 10:03 a.m. to around 4 p.m. we were surveyed by 236 cameras. 7 policemen, 12 police cars, 17 guards. We saw 43 signs that we were being surveyed.
Yeah.
And we had to scan either our compass card in the bus or our ID in cab 9 times, and we encountered 8 audio recorder systems. So I mean, for me it was unbelievable how many times we were surveyed in just a couple of hours, and it just changed my whole perspective of how we're surveyed 24/7 every time we go out of the house.
Yeah. I feel like we did the calculations and it's about a minute, every minute and 30 seconds we saw another camera, which is amazing, and it's scary to just think about it. But yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow to see how we're gonna try to avoid all these different types of surveillance.
And we want to try to see if we can actually answer our thesis, that is, if it's actually impossible to avoid surveillance, or if it's become like an impossible task to actually avoid it, because we just live surrounded by surveillance every time of the day.
It's the second day of the project, the anti-surveillance day. We are dressed like this because we are trying to avoid as many cameras as possible and make sure that they can't detect us. We are currently in a car that is registered to someone else.
So we're gonna do the same route as we did the other day, day one. So we're gonna go to Cap, then we're gonna go to the mall, we're gonna go downtown, just a normal day, but trying to avoid as much surveillance as we can.
Yeah.
So that's why we have the hats and the caps.
Yes, exactly. What I noticed immediately is that people are just looking at me very weirdly. But
so we're looking like criminals.
Yes, but we have nothing to hide. We just don't want to be seen by cameras.
We were at the table, you know what they say.
Now we're starting the same day at the same time, so it's around 10:03 right now. So now we're parked in Capu, right next to the bus center. So what we did is we parked all the way where the cameras cannot see us. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for someone to open the door so we cannot put our ID to scan and to open the door because it's Saturday.
You guys waiting to come in?
Yes, thank you.
Oh my god, I didn't recognize it. Was it?
Now we are leaving Capilano through through a place that doesn't have any cameras, which is a stairwell, but yes. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
On day one, we went to the Pacific Center Mall, which is one of the most popular malls. For day two, since we're trying to stay away from that much surveillance, we went to the Coquitlam Mall, which has 3 times less surveillance than that of Pacific Center. In 5 minutes, we've only seen maybe 2 cameras.
So this is the end of day 2. And what we actually wanted to do is, instead of going to the Pacific Center Mall that we went yesterday, we wanted to go to another mall where there were less surveillance. So at the end, we were only surveyed by 31 cameras. We passed by 10 signs of surveillance. We were only recorded once, and we needed to scan only 3 times our
Yeah, we were only audio recorded once. We waited for someone to open the door so I didn't have to use my ID, my student ID. And then when we were gonna go on the bus, what I did was I scanned my Compass card, so the system would be like, oh, this dude's on, Cerani's on the bus, and then I would just get off at that same stop, and then it never beep my card when I got off. And then we'd get in a car that was registered under a different name. And yeah, I had this on the entire time. No cameras, I think, really could see me because I was driving kind of like that. And then we went to the Coquitlam Mall, which has almost no security at all. And yeah, it's very, like, there's no guards like there was in the Pacific Center. And yeah, I think we went through a day without being surveyed that much, but...
So we're calling our thesis saying if it's possible to avoid surveillance in our daily lives, or has the surveillance become impossible to escape. We want to actually share with you our personal thoughts about it. So I believe that it is possible to avoid surveillance completely, but it will be an extreme case where you have to stay home with no surveillance at all, without using a phone completely, to be able to avoid surveillance completely.
Just this day, when we walked around, Isa was being like, we're living in 1984. And it was just scary to see.
It's actually
how many
like if we're living in 1984, because we're actually, it's like instead of having signs of Big Brother is watching you, we're having all these signs that we're being surveyed. But we're ignoring those signs because it's been thought to us that it's for our own protection.
Yeah.
So we can compare that with V for Vendetta, saying that they have the curfews, they have all the cameras around the streets because it was our protection. So also what I wanted to share is that based on the video we saw during class about the state of surveillance with Edmund Snowden, I realized that even with our phones, the phones has become such an important tool for us to communicate with the world. We could live without phones, but it's now such an important thing that we cannot go without getting lost, without our GPS on the phone, without Google Maps, without being able to communicate by just a text message or a phone call.
Yeah.
And I realized that at any time someone can hack your phone through either the camera or your audio record.
Yep. And it's also mentally ingrained into the way that we act. Like, dressed in all black with a cap and a hoodie on all day, walking around, like, I just felt awkward. I felt like I was hiding something, everyone was looking at me weirdly, because it's not normal to do this. And also just being in the mall, I wanted to take off my cap and wanted to take off my hoodie. It was weird. I felt gross.
I think we can say that from now on, like, we just change our whole perspective of how we're being surveyed, and that anytime we go into the store, we step into a restaurant, we will want to watch and we will want to see how many cameras are they, because it's just something that we just, yeah.
I don't know. It is very weird how now that we've, like, spent a day seeing how much we're surveyed, every time I walk out, I'm just like, where are the cameras? Like, I'm very aware that I'm being surveyed now.
And answering to our thesis that is quite impossible to avoid surveillance nowadays.
Yeah.
We can also up into new hypotheses and new questions, being like, is everybody aware of how we're being surveyed?
Yeah, to what extent?
To what extent we are surveyed? And also, how is our information? Like, for example, every time we scan our ID in school, there's all this information that's kept in a database file. So we will want to ask ourselves, like, how is that information used? And if it's used against us, or how can it be used correctly?
Y ahora decir la cosa de como, gracias por todo.
So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I actually really enjoyed the last term with you.
I also enjoyed the last term with you.
And we thank you for everything, and we hope you enjoy the video. Thank you.
Bye.